you can choose the right hotspot. You can choose the right season. You can even have checked the recent sightings and still miss the bird because you're standing in the wrong spot. By the way, if we haven't met, I'm Rick. When I guide birding trips, positioning is one of the first things I think about. Two people can stand 50 meters apart in the same hotspot and have completely different experiences. Knowing where to stand isn't luck. To show you an example, we're gonna dive into eBird and show you how habitat in hotspots is everything. Let's look at the biggest hotspot in Ontario, Point Pelee National Park, as our example. I'm gonna pull it up on eBird, log into eBird, go explore, type in Ontario, click on hotspots, and it pulls up the leaders, the best hotspots, the best place to go birding in Ontario, Point Pelee National Park. More birds have been seen there than anywhere else in Ontario. It's a gigantic place to go birding. I lead birding tours there every year. It's overwhelming and it can be frustrating because you'll meet other birders and they say, oh, I saw this bird, I saw that bird. Have you seen the prothonotary warbler? Have you seen the black burnian? And they're like, no. Well, it's because you're in the wrong spot. But they're like, I'm at Point Pelee. But where in Point Pelee? That's the important thing. If you click on the map of Point Pelee, you'll see how unique this place is in Ontario. It's this point of land shaped as a triangle, jutting way out into the Lake Erie. See, here's Cleveland down here. It's right across the lake. And so the birds, they want to fly when they migrate across this lake the shortest distance possible. Because flying over water when you're an itty bitty bird is hard work and dangerous because there's hawks out there that's just waiting for a little bird to fly by. So if I'm a bird and I have to cross this lake because my breeding ground is on the other side, see, I pick these islands. Kelly's Island, Pelee Island, and I kind of hopscotch across the lake the easiest way possible. What point is way far out? Point Pelee. This is why it's the best place to go birding in Ontario. But I digress. Look at all the places you could choose. All the places. Where in this triangle are the birds? The number one hotspot is named Point Pelee National Park * general, use more precise location. Well, the name of the hotspot is Don't Use Me, but it's the most popular hotspot. So what's going on here? Here's where the old school data meets new school. Back in the day, there was only one hotspot. So when your grandpa went to Point Pelee to go birding, or your grandma, they had one checklist called Point Pelee. And when that historical data gets loaded into eBird, they didn't know where your grandma or your grandpa was standing. So they just use a general hotspot for Point Pelee. That's what this is. So using this hotspot isn't helpful if I want to know where to go birding in Point Pelee. So I've got to go to the map and choose other hotspots. Click on the map. See, that Point Pelee general hotspot is smack dab right in the middle of the park. If I think that's where the birds are, you're gonna be standing in the wrong spot. That's just the center. I'm gonna zoom out a little bit and look for another hotspot that has a lot of species in it. And look, way down here at the tip, there's a hotspot called The Tip with 340 species, 10,000 checklists. This is where you need to go, right at the tip. If I go into the details, I look at the habitat. Ooh, looks like there's an iceberg floating by. All the birds are congregated at the tip, which makes sense. That's the first bit of land. That's where the birds land when they fly across the lake during migration. That's also the place where they rest up right before they fly south. Makes a lot of sense. If you look at recent photos, you'll get a hint of where the birds are. All right, here's a thrush. Oh, here's a bird resting on the rock just after he landed from flying over the lake. When I'm at the tip hotspot page, I look at recent checklists. What are people seeing and where are they standing? Looks like it's not a very popular winter hotspot. Definitely in spring migration and fall migration, but not in the winter time. If I look at Jeremy's checklist from January, he saw some waterfowl, all ducks and gulls, and one bald eagle. So that tells me he was standing by the water, not in the woods. These are all waterfowl. If I want to see birds that aren't ducks and waterfowl, where should I go in Point Pelee? Because I heard there's a whole bunch of warblers. Where are they? Well, let me look at other hotspots. Oh, here's a hint. Look at the name of the hotspot. Woodland Nature Trail. That's going to have forest birds. Here's another hotspot, the Cactus Trail. Here's another hotspot, the Homestead Trail. Here's another hotspot, the Marsh Boardwalk. All right, if I'm looking for marsh birds, I'm gonna go here. Look at the details. And look at the habitat. Okay, excellent. Now I know what to look for. If someone says they saw a rail or a gallinule, these are marsh birds, a bittern, this is where I'm gonna go. If I go to the illustrated checklist for this place and look for that bittern, yeah, the bitterns show up mid-April at this hotspot and last all the way till September. Night herons, green herons, yeah, so these are all the marsh birds. It's a little early now, but come May and June, that is a popular spot for marsh birds. As I'm looking through the illustrated checklist, if most of the high-frequency species seen are water birds, think ducks, cormorants, gulls, this tells me the hotspot is water-driven. Stand by the water. Look for the trail that goes by the water. This hotspot is known for water birds. Don't get lost in the woods. If I see mostly warblers and woodpeckers and hawks, this tells me the hotspot is woods and forests. Stick to those trails. eBird doesn't just tell you what birds are present. It gives you clues on where to stand. You just have to connect the species to the habitat.
Now I want to hear from you. What's your go-to trick when you visit a new hotspot? Drop it in the comments. This community has taught me some of my best moves, and I read every single comment.